I never really believed in reincarnation. Not seriously. Sure, I'd seen the documentaries and heard the occasional story of kids remembering past lives, war veterans, villagers in India, even the Titanic. But I always figured it was just fantasy, suggestibility, or attention-seeking parents. Then my son, Tyler, started talking about the fire. Not a fire we'd had. We've never had one. Our house is intact. No scorch marks, no trauma. But Tyler would wake up screaming. Screaming about the heat, the smoke, the crackling. He used words I'd never heard him use before, words like ignition point and flashover. He's 6. The first time it happened, I thought it was just a nightmare. He clung to me, trembling like a leaf, whispering, they never got out. They tried, but the stairs were gone. The walls were already breathing fire. I held him, soothed him, rocked him back to sleep. The next night it happened again. And the next. I took away his iPad. I thought maybe he'd seen something scary on YouTube. He hadn't. The browser history was clear. I asked his kindergarten teacher if they'd talked about fire safety lately. They hadn't. After a week of sleepless nights and haunting mutterings, I made an appointment with Dr. Laurel Greaves, a child psychologist who specialized in trauma and early memory. Dr. Greaves listened patiently while Tyler described the house. The way the living room looked, the fireplace, the wallpaper. She nodded and asked neutral questions. How do you know that place? And who lived there with you? Tyler was quiet for a long time. Then he said, it was my other family. Dr. Greaves leaned forward gently. You had another family? Tyler nodded. Before this one. Before I got born wrong. That phrase stuck with me. Born wrong. I didn't even understand what it meant until a week later, when he drew a picture. It was a house. Not ours. A red 2-story with a wraparound porch. There was a tree out front with a rope swing. Flames rose from the windows. Inside the house were stick figures, a woman, a man, and a girl, crossed out with red XS. There was another figure outside the house, under the tree. That one had a green circle around it. It was labeled, me. He wrote it in all caps. That night, I had a dream. I was walking through an old house. I recognized it from the drawing. Red walls, rope swing, but everything was charred, blackened. Smoke still curled through the door frames. Then I heard footsteps behind me, small, rapid ones. I turned, expecting to see Tyler. It wasn't him. It looked like him, but older. 10 or 11, maybe. His eyes were hollow, too large for his face. He didn't blink. He just said, I'm not supposed to be here. You stole me. I woke up gasping. Tyler was sitting at the foot of my bed, watching me. Dr. Greaves asked if anyone in our family had ever lived in a house like the one Tyler described. We hadn't. Not even close. So she tried something unusual, a technique she called guided drawing regression. She sat with Tyler and asked him to draw rooms in the other house, one by one, from memory. What he drew was disturbingly consistent. The same furniture in every session. Same wallpaper patterns. Same layout. Finally, she asked him to draw the outside. He sketched the front again, but this time added an address number. 1374. No street name. Just that. I Googled it. Searched every real estate listing, every archived map I could find. Nothing. Until I found an article on a forgotten site. Local family dies in accidental fire, house condemned. The year, 1991. The location, 2 towns over. The address, 1374 Eldridge Avenue. I visited the lot. The house is gone now. Burned down to the foundation. The yard is overgrown. There's a for sale sign out front, bleached white from the sun. But under the tree in the front yard, there's a rusted metal hook, swaying gently in the wind. Like it once held a swing. I didn't tell Tyler I visited the burned-down house. I wasn't sure how he'd react or if it would make the dreams worse. But that night, while I was tucking him in, he said, You saw it, didn't you? I froze. Saw what? The swing, he whispered. It's still there, but I can't use it anymore. He rolled over before I could say anything else. I kept digging. The article didn't mention names. Just a family of 3, mother, father, and daughter, perished in a structural fire after being trapped upstairs. I tracked down the archived fire report. There was a name, the Glenner family. Parents, Douglas and Marie Glenner. Daughter, Abigail, age 9. No mention of a son. But what chilled me was the footnote. One child was believed to be outside at time of ignition. Not recovered. Presumed lost in the woods. A neighbor claimed she saw a boy running away, but no child was ever found. I printed the report and took it to Dr. Greaves. She scanned it quickly, her eyes narrowing. You think Tyler is him? She asked slowly. I don't know what I think, I said. But he knew too much. She nodded. Then we need to find out what's still attached. The next night, Tyler didn't wake up screaming. He didn't wake up at all. Instead, I did. It was 3:17 a.m., and I heard someone downstairs. Footsteps. Slow. Careful. Moving from the kitchen to the hallway. I grabbed the bat I kept under the bed and crept out. I expected to find an intruder, but I found Tyler. He was standing in the dark, facing the back door. It was open. Cold night air blew in. His pajama shirt fluttered like a flag. He was barefoot, not shivering. I have to go, he said. I stepped closer. Go where? They're waiting. His voice was flat, distant, like someone talking in their sleep. I took him by the shoulders. Tyler, look at me. He didn't. They never left. They're still inside. Dr. Greaves suggested something drastic. There's a regression therapist I trust, not a quack. He worked with children who'd survived hostage situations. Sometimes memory's not just a record, it's a bridge. The man's name was Victor Niles. Gray-bearded, serious, and not into mysticism. He sat across from Tyler and spoke gently. Can you show me where they are? Tyler closed his eyes. His breathing slowed. Then he began to speak in a voice that wasn't quite his. Lower. More precise. They were asleep. I was downstairs. I smelled it first. Burnt toast. Then bark. The wood started cracking. Victor asked, why didn't you go back for them? I tried. Tyler's face twisted. The stairs were melting. And I heard my sister screaming. She said, don't leave me. Then silence. Tyler's eyes fluttered. He started crying. I didn't want to be born again. Not like this. Victor looked pale. That wasn't a memory, he said slowly. That was guilt. Later that night, I found something under Tyler's bed. A bundle of drawings I hadn't seen before. One was of our house, but dark, windows shattered, smoke curling from the chimney. Another showed himself, standing in a mirror. But on the other side of the glass was someone else. Same size, same shape, but wrong. No pupils. No mouth. Just black holes where features should have been. That figure was labeled, not me. I started sleeping with my bedroom door locked. I didn't want to. But Tyler was changing. Not drastically. Just subtly. He stopped using certain words. Started asking strange questions like, how long until this body grows up? And do you think skin remembers? One night I came into his room, and he had arranged all of his plush animals in a circle. In the center was a burned match. When I asked what he was doing, he said, they told me I have to choose soon. Choose what? Which one of us gets to stay? I started watching him. Tyler. My son. The boy who used to love jelly sandwiches and race cars, who would run through the sprinkler in the summer and scream with laughter. Now he sat for hours in silence. Just staring. At nothing. At walls. At the fireplace. Sometimes at me. And I started to wonder, was it really Tyler who was staring back? One morning, I found him sitting cross-legged in the hallway, tracing something on the floor with his finger. When I got closer, I saw the shape. A perfect circle. Burned into the wood. I dropped to my knees. What is this? He looked up. His eyes were vacant. It's where they come through. Who? They don't have names anymore. Just ash. I stared at the floor. The circle was blackened, not drawn. It had been scorched into the wood. Dr. Greaves tried another session. She brought sand trays, figurines, tools for symbolic play. Tyler ignored them all. Instead, he asked her a question. Can a soul split? She looked startled. What do you mean? He leaned forward. Like if someone dies too fast, before they're ready. Can part of them get stuck? She didn't answer. He whispered, because I think I left a piece behind. That night, I searched for more information on the Glenner fire. And I found something I hadn't noticed before. A follow-up article. Written by a neighbor. It was short. A letter to the editor. I still remember the little boy. I saw him sitting in the tree that night, just watching the fire. Not crying. Just watching. The firemen never found him. But a year later, another family moved in. They only lasted 6 weeks. Said the walls talked at night. Said their daughter started drawing matches in her sleep. That house should have stayed empty. I printed the letter and put it on my nightstand. At 2:12 a.m., I woke up gasping. There was smoke in my room. I jumped out of bed. Nothing was burning. No heat. No flames. Just the smell. Like charcoal and damp wood. Then I saw it. Tyler was standing in the hallway again. This time, he wasn't alone. Behind him, barely visible, was a shadow. Thin, child-sized, blurred like smeared ink. It didn't move. It didn't breathe. But it was watching me. In the morning, Tyler didn't remember being awake. Or claimed not to. I told Dr. Greaves everything. The circle. The shadow. The scorched smell. The changes in him. She said, carefully, "This sounds like a case of spiritual transference. A child retaining residual memory is one thing. But if something is trying to return through him..." I interrupted. "Then what do I do?" She hesitated. "Take him back." "Back where?" "To the place it started." I didn't want to. God help me, I didn't want to. But that afternoon, I packed a bag, buckled Tyler into the car, and drove back to the lot on Eldridge Avenue. It looked even worse than before. Overgrown. Silent. The foundation still half visible beneath the weeds. Tyler stepped out of the car on his own. Walked up to the tree like he knew it. Then he crouched beside the stump and whispered, "I buried it here." I knelt beside him. Buried what? He started digging with his bare hands. Then stopped and pulled out something wrapped in plastic. A charred stuffed rabbit. Its ears were melted. Its eyes were gone. "I gave it to Abigail when the fire started," he said, "so she wouldn't be scared." I reached for it. He jerked it away. "Don't touch it. It's still hers." We left the rabbit on the tree stump and walked back to the car. But as I opened the door, I felt something. Like static. The hair on my arm stood up. Tyler grabbed my hand. "She's coming now," he said softly. "Who?" But I already knew. We didn't speak on the drive home. Tyler stared out the window, unmoving, clutching his knees to his chest. His lips moved now and then, but no sound came out. I didn't ask. I was too focused on the feeling, like something had followed us. Like something extra sat in the backseat. We got home just after sunset. That night, the lights flickered. Not in the whole house. Just in Tyler's room. At 1:44 a.m., I woke to a knock. 3 soft taps. Then silence. Not at the door. At the window. We live on the 2nd floor. I stepped slowly to the curtains and pulled them back. Nothing. But when I turned around, Tyler was standing right behind me. He looked up at me, eyes hollow. "She says you're not my real dad." I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Dr. Greaves called the next day. "I've been doing research," she said. "Some cultures believe that when someone dies in trauma, especially unexpectedly, they can fragment, leave behind pieces. Echoes. Like hauntings. Not quite. More like emotional anchors. And if they find a new host, especially someone young or connected, they try to finish what was interrupted." "Finish what?" She hesitated. "Their death." I installed cameras in the hallway and Tyler's room. Night vision. Motion sensors. The first night, nothing. Second night, static. Third night, at 3:03 a.m., the hallway camera picked something up. Tyler walked out of his room, but not like a sleepwalker. His movements were sharp. Too fast. He stopped in the hallway and turned his head, but not toward the camera. Toward the ceiling. And smiled. Then, something moved behind him. Just for a frame. It looked like hair. Long floating. Not attached to anything. The next day, I asked Tyler what he remembered. He looked at me and said, "Abigail wants her rabbit back. I left it on the stump." He shook his head. "You didn't bury it again. She's angry." His tone was so flat, it made my skin crawl. Then he added, almost to himself, "She says if I come back, we can be a family again." I tried to talk to him, but he just walked away. That evening, I made a choice. I drove back to Eldridge Avenue. Alone. I brought a shovel, a flashlight, and the stuffed rabbit, which I'd secretly taken back from the stump the day before. I buried it where Tyler said he dug it up. I whispered, "I'm sorry for what happened, but he's not yours anymore." Then I poured salt around the spot. A circle, like Tyler had drawn on the floor. Back home, the house was too quiet. Tyler was in bed, or so I thought. At 2:57 a.m., I heard laughter. Not playful, not childlike. High-pitched, warped, echoing from the vents. I rushed to his room. He was gone. The window was open, the screen pushed out, and on the floor, ashes. I ran outside, yelled his name into the night. Checked the street, the backyard, the woods behind the house. Nothing. Then I saw the footprints. Bare, small, leading toward the tree line. I followed. Branches whipped my face. The cold bit at my arms. But I kept running, deeper into the woods, until I saw a flicker of light between the trees. A fire. Small. Controlled. In the middle of a clearing. And Tyler stood at the edge of it, staring into the flames. I called out. He didn't move. I stepped into the clearing, and then I saw her. A figure inside the fire. Not burning. Not in pain. Just standing. Like the fire was her skin. A girl, maybe 10 years old. Face blank. Hair floating like it was underwater. She turned and looked at me. And smiled. Then she reached for Tyler. And he took a step forward. I didn't have a plan. All I knew was that I couldn't let him step into the fire. Tyler! I yelled. My voice cracked. He paused, just for a second. Long enough for me to run forward and grab him. But the second I touched his shoulder, the world shifted. Everything tilted. The trees pulled inward. The fire brightened, then vanished. We weren't in the forest anymore. We were in a house. A burning one. Walls breathing smoke. Ceilings groaning. Wallpaper curling like dead skin. And on the stairs, a little girl, covered in soot, holding the scorched rabbit. She looked at me, then at Tyler. You left me. Tyler whimpered. I didn't mean to. You left us all, she said, stepping forward. Abigail, I whispered. Her eyes burned, not figuratively. They glowed like coals. Tyler stepped behind me. Don't let her take me. But she wasn't moving toward him. She was looking at me now. You took him, she said. You brought him back where he doesn't belong. I'm his father, I said. No, she said. You're just borrowing what's mine. Flames licked the walls. The house cracked and trembled. I didn't understand what she meant until Tyler screamed. And I turned around to find him split. Two versions. One Tyler, crying, real, clutching my leg. And another, eyes vacant, skin pale, already stepping toward the girl. Don't, I shouted. But it was too late. The second Tyler walked straight into the flames and vanished. The girl smiled. The house collapsed. I woke up in the clearing, lying in the dirt. Tyler was beside me, his hand in mine, breathing, sleeping. The fire was gone. No sign it had ever been there. Only the smell of ash in the wind. He didn't speak for 2 days. Not a word. He just sat on the couch, wrapped in a blanket, staring at the wall. Then, on the third morning, he whispered. She let me go. That was all. The drawing stopped. The night terrors ended. He smiled again, ate again, played again. And yet, sometimes, when he's really quiet, I catch him tracing circles into the carpet with his finger. Or watching the fireplace a little too long. I don't interrupt. I just listen. A few months later, we moved. New house. New city. New everything. I burned the rabbit in our fireplace the night before we left. Tyler never asked about it. But on the drive to our new home, as he looked out the window, he said, some things don't stay dead. They just get tired of waiting. And last night, for the first time in almost a year, I woke up to footsteps in the hallway. Not Tyler's. I opened the door and stepped outside. Nothing was there, except a small, charred handprint on the wall, right above the floor.